Hey, it's Sam Barrett in the Class Winners Workshop, and today we're inside the workshop. Last time we were outside the workshop with a 1972 Porsche 914 Rescue. Now, this has been off the road for about 8 years, and in the last video, we had to get all the sludge off the top of the car and all the leaves and twigs. And it's looking a lot better. Still have some staining to get off with polishing and clay barring, but it's already looking so much better. And today we're going to try to make some big progress. Hey, first, click that little Class Winners blue circle icon. That'll allow you to subscribe to our Class Winners Workshop and our Seat of the Pants videos, so you can keep up to date on some cool cars, fixing them, driving them, tips and tricks, just to see what they're like in the ownership experience. So we've already made some progress off camera. Just little things, just to kind of make it simpler and nicer to work on after washing it the other day. So first thing we did, take off the target top. I'm 6'4", so it just makes it easier for access getting in and out. Also, vacuum in here. So it's a little bit cleaner, and put the floor mats back in, the carpets, so it just kind of looks better. Also, in the back, we cleaned up the engine bay a little bit more. Just getting out the rest of the leaves and just wiping it down so there's no dust and debris to get in our way. The other thing is, you might notice the engine cover lid is staying up on its own, and it's actually a pretty simple fix. The torsion bar, that little wire that goes across, it just lost some of its spring. All we needed to do was put a little rubber spacer in there and give it a little more twist, and voila, it's staying up on its own, like it just got its morning dose of Cialis. So right on, we're in business. Now we've got to get to the fun part, trying to get it to turn over and run. But before we do that, we need to look at all the fluids. So underneath is going to look pretty familiar to anybody who's ever driven a Beetle or a VW bus, because it's basically the standard VW air-cooled engine. And well, that was part of the knock of the Porsche 914. You're paying, well, when they came out, about $3,800, which was about $1,000 more than some of its competitors. And you're getting what essentially was a Volkswagen engine. But VW engines may actually be one of the most reliable engines ever. But that's only if you take care of it. So since this oil's been sitting around for a long time, we need to do two things. We need to drain the oil, and then we need to undo the strainer here and see if there's anything going on there. So let's get this draining. Let's get this centered up a little bit better. And remember, don't take it all the way out. Take it to the last few threads, and then you pull it out. So you don't get oil everywhere. I don't know how long this is. There we go. All right. Yeah, that's some pretty black oil. While it's doing that, we can take down the oil filter, which is actually only hand tight. So my guess is that there are no miles on this, because it never had a chance to really get tight again. And it's a Fram. Now, I don't want to bash anybody's company, but Fram has been having for over a decade some serious quality issues. You're really better off with other brands. And we'll get out the strainer. Now, obviously, if this is still draining, this is still going to need to drain a little bit. So let's let them both drain. All right, so here's the bottom of the strainer, and you usually find some kind of sludge in the bottom, and that's okay, but what you're really looking for is make sure there's no metal parts. I don't see much of anything shiny in here, just a lot of sludge. So we'll brake clean that off. Then what we have to do is get out the strainer itself. And there we go. And one of the things that we can see in this is it's got a little bit of orange RTV on the screen. And it's one of the reasons that these engines have screens is to pick up this kind of junk. And this is a lesson. Go easy on the RTV. I mean, this isn't much, it'll be fine. What happens is people go very heavy when they're putting on intakes and so forth, and then it splooshes out onto the inside and breaks off and gets into the oil. And if this clogs up your oil pickup, you're in big trouble. But this is just a couple little things that got cut up, and we'll get it cleaned off. We'll brake clean and we'll be good to go. We already have our gasket back in there, and we just need to put this in and grab the nut. Now it's really important, and the Porsche 914 guys will tell you this, that you don't go too tight on this. It's only 9.6 foot-pounds. So that's not a lot. So just about that much Torx. We should be good. And now let's get the drain plug in and the new oil filter in there. All right, and again, only about that much Torx. That's all you need. And we'll wipe off the excess drips there. Then all we need is to put in the oil filter, and that's hand tight. Now luckily the oil fill is right in the center. Makes it very convenient. But we'll still go for a funnel here. Now, as you know, people go all kinds of crazy about what kind of oil to put in here. Generally, it's 2050, or a lot of people choose 1540 diesel because it's got all the vitamins and minerals that old cars need, old engines like. And we'll still put some ZDDP additive in here because the tappets in here probably could benefit from a little extra zinc in there. But right now, we need to go just under 4 quarts, and this is 4 quarts. And here's some zinc additive. You can use whatever you want, and not all cars need it, not all engines need it, but it's good for peace of mind for anything that's got flat tappets in the engine. Porsche definitely does not get the award for easiest access of a fuel tank. I mean, it's right here, so every time you fuel up, you gotta actually lift this front trunk area. Fuel tank right here. You can tell it's been low for a while because there's a little bit of rust on the inside of the cap. But let's check out and see what it smells like. I mean, it smells bad. I mean, not like dumpster after Mardi Gras bad, or I'd kind of put it into the middle school gym bag bad in terms of it's fuel-ish, but it's not fresh. But I've smelled worse. I'll bet there's actually some fuel stabilizer in there, because usually fuel this old, it tends to smell pretty bad. So I'm gonna get a flashlight and look and see how much is in there, and then go from there. Yeah, I can see down there, and it looks like it's fairly low. It's kind of hard to tell. These things are pretty deep because they're put in kind of on its side. It might be worth just trying to siphon that stuff out and just put fresh gas in there. So there are a lot of different ways to siphon a tank. I try not to get fuel in my mouth. My wife tells me it's pretty bad for me, and my wife would like me to say that she's always right on everything. So there we go. Fresh gas is clear. So when it looks brown or kind of a yellowish, grossish, blackish, any of those things, sometimes when it's got red, it just means it's got something like stable or red fuel preservative in it. But honestly, if it's not somewhere near clear when you're trying to get it started, just get fresh gas. There we go. Since we're already here, let's check the inside of the distributor cap and make sure there's nothing living in there. Because nothing worse than trying to get a car started and then realizing there's a bunch of junk in there. All right, it looks pretty clean, not very worn. Looks nice under there, so rotor and all that. So hopefully that means we should be able to get spark, and that's assuming that this blue coil here works well. So we'll get this back on and try to get her going. Just charge her up, boost her up, and see. All right, let's give it a shot. Oh, that battery is really dead. And it is turning really slowly. I can hear the accelerator pumps working. There we go, it's going. Success! It's even idling. Who'd have thought? So we got oil pressures. Everything looks, no oil pressure light. Doesn't look like the, oh, there's the tire. It sounds like a 914. We're in business. All right. Let's turn the battery pack off. How about that? These are the things that just make running around and picking up old cars and doing all the work just makes it worth it. Let's make sure underneath we're not leaking anything. Looks good. Right on. It's going to take a while to get some of that gunk out of the float bowl to get that new gas from the tank into the car. Success, success, people. How about that? That's got to make you feel good. All right, so from the Class Winners Workshop, I'm Sam Bearer. We've got a success for today. Next step, we'll do a little with the cleaning up the paint some more. We'll get into some of the ancillaries, check out all the brakes. It's going to be fun. Can't wait to drive this thing. Till next time.